Hello, everyone. We are officially back in the studio, and boy, howdy, we have a new episode of PlayGrid Sports presented by Amazon Music. Okay, David, did you know that the Oklahoma City Thunder are on the verge of becoming the first repeat NBA champion since 2018? It's been nearly a decade, and they're making it look almost routine.
That's a wild stat, and it really puts into perspective how hard it is to sustain success in the NBA. What's even crazier is that they're doing it in a season where the competition feels tougher than ever. Where do we even start with all this?
Let's start in the East, where the Detroit Pistons have locked up the top seed despite losing Cade Cunningham to a collapsed lung. That's a huge storyline. They've gone 8-2 without him, which is impressive, but you have to wonder how far they can go in the playoffs if he's not back to full strength.
It's a big question. Cade is their engine, and while Jalen Duren has been phenomenal in his absence, the playoffs are a different beast. Duren's emergence has been one of the season's best stories, though. He's not just holding the fort, he's dominating in ways that make you think he could be a most improved player candidate.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the chaos brewing behind Detroit in the East standings. The Boston Celtics are likely to secure the second seed, but the race for third and fourth between the New York Knicks and Cleveland Cavaliers is going down to the wire. It's going to be a photo finish.
And the Atlanta Hawks are right there in fifth, playing spoiler. Their upcoming games against New York and Cleveland could decide who gets home court advantage in the first round. It's like they're the wild card in this whole scenario.
Exactly. And then there's the battle for the sixth seed between the Philadelphia 76ers and Toronto Raptors. Both teams are tied with just 4 games left, and Toronto's recent loss to Sacramento might end up being the game that cost them. It's crazy how one result can have such a ripple effect.
It really is. And speaking of ripple effects, the play-in tournament in the East is shaping up to be fascinating. The Charlotte Hornets are the team to watch. They've been on fire since January, and with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller healthy, they're a legitimate threat to make some noise.
Oh, for sure. And don't sleep on K.L.P. He's been fearless as a rookie and is right in the mix for Rookie of the Year. The Hornets have this underdog energy that makes them so dangerous. If they end up facing a team like the Celtics in the first round, they could really shake things up.
That's what makes the play-in tournament so exciting. It gives teams like the Hornets a chance to catch fire at just the right time. They've got nothing to lose, and that makes them incredibly dangerous.
Totally. But let's switch gears to the Western Conference, where the Oklahoma City Thunder are making headlines. They've clinched their division for the third straight year and are looking to become the first repeat champions in nearly a decade. That's no small feat.
Not at all. And it all starts with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's the reigning MVP and is likely to win it again this year. The Thunder have gone 17-1 since he returned from injury, which tells you everything you need to know about his impact.
For sure. But the San Antonio Spurs aren't going quietly. They're just 3 games back with 4 to play, and they've been on an absolute tear since February, going 27-3. They even have the season series tiebreaker over OKC. Do you think they can catch the Thunder for the top seed?
It's going to be tough. The Thunder's remaining schedule isn't easy with 3 road games, but they've shown they can handle pressure. Plus, the Denver Nuggets could play spoiler here. They've got games against both the Thunder and Spurs in the final week, so they could have a huge say in how this plays out.
And speaking of Denver, they're tied with the Los Angeles Lakers for the 3rd seed. The Lakers are dealing with some key injuries right now. Luka Doncic is out indefinitely with a hamstring strain, and Austin Reeves is done for the regular season. Even if they're back for the playoffs, will they be at 100%?
That's a big question mark. The Lakers have been one of the best teams in the league when healthy, but injuries have been their Achilles heel. If they can't secure home court advantage in the first round, it could be a tough road for them.
And then there's the battle for the 5th and 6th seeds between the Houston Rockets and Minnesota Timberwolves. Their game on April 10th could end up deciding who finishes where. It's going to be a must watch.
Definitely. And let's not overlook the West play-in tournament. The Golden State Warriors are locked into the 10th spot, but the return of Stephen Curry changes everything. If he's anywhere near his usual self, the Warriors become a real threat to make a deep run.
That's the beauty of the play-in tournament. It gives teams like the Warriors a chance to catch fire at the right time, but if Curry isn't 100%, they could be looking at a quick exit.
True. And while we're on the topic of injuries, let's circle back to Cade Cunningham. His return is crucial for the Pistons' playoff hopes, but he's not the only star dealing with health issues. There are several players who need to hit the 65-game minimum to be eligible for postseason awards. That's going to be a storyline to watch in the final week.
Absolutely. Guys like Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, and Evan Mobley are all right on the cusp. It's going to be interesting to see how teams handle their minutes in these last few games. Do you push them to hit the threshold, or do you prioritize rest and health for the playoffs?
It's a delicate balance, and then there's the lottery-bound teams who are playing a different kind of game. They're all jockeying for position to improve their draft odds. The Indiana Pacers and Brooklyn Nets have a game this week that someone has to win, but you can bet they're not thrilled about it.
Oh, it's such a fascinating dynamic. The race for the top draft picks is almost as compelling as the playoff race. And with the quality of talent in this year's draft class, every lotto combination matters.
No doubt. And before we wrap up, let's touch on the awards races. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Con Knueppel seem to have MVP and Rookie of the Year locked up, respectively. But there are still some interesting battles for other awards, like Defensive Player of the Year and Sixth Man.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, and Keldon Johnson looks like a lock for Sixth Man. But I think Jalen Duren's case for Most Improved Player is one of the most compelling stories of the season.
Agreed. It's been an incredible season. And the final week promises to be just as exciting, whether it's the playoff races, the awards battles, or the lottery implications. There's something for every basketball fan to keep an eye on.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
South Carolina, Texas, UCLA, and UConn led the first version of last year's women's college basketball way too early top 25. These four teams playing on the final weekend again was not a surprise, despite a repeat final for happening only one other time in NCAA tournament history, 1995 to 96. It will not be a surprise if that happens again in next April's Final Four in Columbus, Ohio. The Gamecocks, Longhorns, and Huskies will each bring back their best player. Joyce Edwards, Madison Booker, and Sarah Strong, respectively, and have deep, talented rosters. Edwards, Booker, and Strong will headline every All-American team. The return of Juju Watkins at USC should make the Trojans a contender again, as well. The Bruins, meanwhile, will lose their top 6 players, meaning they have plenty of work to do this offseason. Coach Corey Close has already admitted she and her staff will be active in the transfer portal. But until those results come in, UCLA won't make the 2026 to 27 way too early rankings. The transfer portal, which officially opens Monday, will significantly change the outlooks for the top 25 teams, as well as those not mentioned. In some cases, it already has. Iowa State was likely going to be ranked before Audi Crooks. Addie Brown and 7 other players announced their intention to enter the portal. Georgia, Oklahoma State, and Tennessee have also been hit hard by announcements from players intending to change programs. Let these rankings accordingly serve as a foundation, the starting point to a new season that can't get here soon enough. An intriguing offseason awaits. Here is the first look at the best teams for 2026 to 27. Somehow the Huskies lost Paige Buchers and still had a more impressive regular season and reached a 25th Final Four. So, as important as Azzi Fudd was to this year's team, UConn should be able to thrive. Having the best player in the game in Sarah Strong is the biggest reason. Strong's offensive game is complete, but it's her play at the other end of the court that helped make UConn the best defensive team in the country this season. Blanca Quiñones could be a star with another season of development. Signs had already begun pointing that way during the 2026 NCAA tournament. The rest of the rotation, except Sarah Williams, all has eligibility, so KK Arnold, Kaylee Heckel, and Ashlyn Shade should return to spearhead a deep and versatile backcourt. Vic Schaefer's talent accumulation just keeps getting more impressive. After landing the 5th-rated class in 2024, he brought the number 5 player to Austin last year in Aaliyah Crump. The 2026 class is currently ranked 2nd, with 5 players in the SC Next 100. More significant is the return of Madison Booker for her senior season. Rory Harmon is gone, but Schaefer should have Brianna Preston or incoming freshman Alias Fate, SC Next 100 number 20, ready to take over at the point. Jordan Lee has grown into a solid scoring option behind Booker, and Crump could be ready for a big jump with a fully healthy sophomore year. Last offseason, Dawn Staley hit the portal adeptly and strategically to get Tanaya Latson and Madina Okote. Now they must be replaced. More difficult will be losing the leadership and winning attitude of Raven Johnson. But Joyce Edwards, Tessa Johnson, Maddie McDaniel, and Agat Maker, all top 15 recruits in the past 3 years, make up a pretty good foundation, with McDaniel expected to assume the full-time point guard role. Staley will no doubt attract more talent in the portal, too. And if Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins return healthy, the Gamecocks could be staring at a 7th consecutive Final Four. Flaujae Johnson is no longer a Tiger, but if Kim Mulkey can retain her top-rated recruiting class from a year ago, Zakia Johnson, Grace Knox, Bella Hines, to join incoming freshman Lola Lampley, SC Next 100 number 29, LSU will be right behind South Carolina and Texas in the SEC. The transfer portal is also bound to bring in top talent. Mulkey already has Michaela Williams, Jada Richard, and Milasia Fulwilly, if she returns, which Mulkey expects, despite transfer rumors, in a loaded backcourt. The Wolverines' noteworthy 2024 recruiting class, Olivia Olson, Silas Swords, Mila Holloway, and Tayala Delphis, will be juniors and looking for a Final Four breakthrough after reaching the program's first Elite Eight. A front-court scorer from the transfer portal would fit well, but Kim Barnes-Arico still has a team good enough to win the Big Ten. With a healthy Juju Watkins, the talent at USC will be undeniable. Incoming 6-0 freshman Sanaya Hall gives coach Lindsay Gottlieb 3 of the past 4 number 1 overall recruits in the SC Next 100. If she can successfully incorporate Hall and Watkins, who missed a year following knee surgery, with this past season's leading scorer and 2025 top recruit Jazzy Davidson, plus 2 international 5-star recruits, 6-4 forwards Satya Fagan and Sarah Okeke, and Kennedy Smith, USC can challenge for the Big Ten title again and a Final Four. Emily Skinner was the 4th-ranked recruit last year, but injuries essentially ended her first season in Durham. If she's healthy, Kara Lawson has her replacement for Taina Mayer. If Jaden Donovan also comes back healthy, and Riley Nelson and Ariana Roberson take the next step, the Blue Devils could be even better in 2026-27. Toby Fournier is also poised to be one of the most versatile post players in the country. It appears 4 of Louisville's 5 starters, plus ACC 6th Player of the Year Amari Berry, will be back next season. That's the Cardinals' top 3 scorers and top 3 rebounders, an unusual feat in today's era of college basketball. Throw in Ariana Cradle, SC Next 100 number 34, a combo guard and the top recruit of Louisville's solid freshman class, and Jeff Walls has the makings of a team similar to this season. No superstar, but versatile at every position. McKenna Willixko, SC Next 100 number 6, Iowa's highest rated recruit since Caitlin Clark, arrives with plenty of expectations. She also arrives at a good time, with Hannah Stulka set to depart. The 6-2 Willixko is a good, versatile fit alongside Ava Hayden in the front court and Chit Chat right at point guard.
Welcome back to PlayGrid Sports, presented by Amazon Music. Did you know that the Philadelphia Phillies are officially the most watchable team in Major League Baseball this year? That's right, they topped the 2026 MLB Watchability Index, and today we're breaking down why.
Oh, that's a bold way to kick things off. The Phillies, huh? I mean, I know they've got star power, but what makes them stand out so much this season?
Well, it's a combination of things. They've got a stacked roster with big names like Kyle Schwarber, who hit 56 home runs last year, and Christopher Sanchez, who's become a top-tier player. Add in some stellar rookies like Andrew Painter, who dominated in his debut, and you've got a team that's not just good, but incredibly fun to watch.
That makes sense. And let's not forget their fans. Phillies fans are some of the most passionate in the league, and that energy really comes through, whether you're at the ballpark or watching on TV. But let's rewind a bit. How does this watchability index even work?
Great question. The index is based on a 40-point scale, and it evaluates teams across 4 main categories: star power, young talent, baseball stuff, like defense and base running, and a bonus category for those intangible factors like uniforms, ballpark atmosphere, and even quirky player traits. It's all about what makes baseball exciting to watch.
Got it. So it's not just about wins and losses, it's about the whole experience. That's why a team like the Dodgers, who are always competitive, might not automatically top the list, right?
Exactly. And speaking of the Dodgers, they came in second this year. They've got Shohei Ohtani, who's basically a one-man highlight reel, and a roster full of stars like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, but their baseball staff score was a bit lower because they don't steal many bases and their starters don't pitch as deep into games as some other teams.
That's interesting. So even a team as loaded as the Dodgers can have areas where they're not as watchable. What about the Mets? I feel like they're always a wild card in these kinds of rankings.
Oh, the Mets are fascinating. They came in third, and a big part of that is their star power. Juan Soto is a must-watch player, and they've got a great mix of veterans and young talent. But what really sets them apart is the drama. With the Mets, you're always wondering what's going to go wrong or right next.
That's so true. Mets fans must have nerves of steel. Okay, so we've covered the top 3 teams. What about the other end of the spectrum? Who's at the bottom this year?
Unfortunately for their fans, the Colorado Rockies are dead last. They scored just 4 points, and it's easy to see why. They've got no star power, almost no young talent, and their style of play isn't exactly thrilling. Plus, their rotation is mostly made up of pitchers over 33, which doesn't scream excitement.
Ouch, that's tough. But Rockies fans are still showing up to the ballpark, and that loyalty has to count for something. What about the Angels? I feel like they've been stuck in a rut for years.
You're absolutely right. The Angels came in 29th, and it's a similar story. Mike Trout didn't even crack the top 100 players this year, which is heartbreaking. And aside from a few bright spots, like Trout homering in the first 2 games, there's just not much to get excited about. Their roster feels stale and their young talent score is low.
That's so frustrating, especially when you think about how much potential they've had over the years. Okay, let's talk about some teams in the middle of the pack. Who's a sleeper pick for watchability this year?
Great question. The Pittsburgh Pirates are a team to keep an eye on. They jumped all the way to 13th this year, thanks to a dynamic rookie duo in Connor Griffin and Bubba Chandler. Griffin in particular is making waves as a teenage sensation, and he's already drawing comparisons to Juan Soto.
That's exciting. And it's been a while since the Pirates were relevant, so it's nice to see them climbing the rankings. What about the Royals? I feel like they've got some fun players too.
Oh, absolutely. The Royals came in 10th. And Bobby Witt Jr. is a big reason why. He's one of the most watchable players in the league, with his combination of speed, defense, and power. Plus, they've got some exciting young talent like Jack Caglianone and Carter Jensen, who could make a big impact this season.
That's great to hear. It sounds like there's a lot to look forward to this season, no matter which team you're rooting for. So, what's the big takeaway from this year's watchability index?
I think the biggest takeaway is that watchability isn't just about winning. It's about the overall experience. Star players, exciting rookies, a fun style of play, and even those little intangibles that make baseball special. And this year, there's a lot to love across the league.
Absolutely. Whether you're a Phillies fan basking in the glory of being number 1 or a Rockies fan just hoping for a better tomorrow, there's something for everyone in baseball this year.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.